My sister and I heard voices calling us from the woods, and I made the mistake of answering. I stopped eating properly, stopped sleeping, stopped helping around the house. I'd sit for hours staring at the wall, replaying the way the fruit tasted, convinced that if I just listened hard enough, I'd hear them again. My sister started to worry. She asked me what was wrong, why I looked sick, why my hair seemed thinner, why I wouldn't touch real food anymore. She told me I looked like someone who hadn't been outside in weeks, even though we were together every day. I snapped at her when she pushed too hard. I accused her of judging me, of making things up, of blaming her fears on me. That's when she said the name of the girl she'd warned me about before, the one who wasted away after taking what she shouldn't have. She told me she was scared she was watching the same thing happen again. That night, when we went to the creek, my sister heard the voices. I didn't. She froze mid-step and told me they were calling out again, clear as ever, listing fruit like nothing had changed. I stood there in complete silence, straining to hear even a whisper, but there was nothing. My sister stayed close the entire time, watching me eat, watching me sleep, making sure I didn't wander off at night. I resented her for it, even though part of me knew she was the only thing keeping me grounded. Not a sound. When she looked at me, her face went pale. She realized before I did what it meant. Whatever line I crossed that first night, it didn't just pull me closer to them. It cut me off. We walked home without speaking. My sister kept glancing at me like she was trying to memorize my face, like she was afraid it was already fading. That night, after she fell asleep, I sat up again, shaking with frustration and desperation, knowing they were out there and knowing I couldn't reach them anymore. I clenched the fruit pit I'd kept hidden like a secret, pressing it into my palm hard enough to hurt, realizing that wanting something badly enough doesn't mean you get to have it again. After that night, things got bad fast. I stopped pretending everything was fine because I didn't have the energy for it anymore. I barely slept, and when I did, I'd wake up sweating and angry, like I'd missed something important. I couldn't hear the voices, couldn't taste anything the way I wanted to, and it felt like the world had gone flat and colorless overnight. My sister tried to take over the chores I'd been ignoring, tried to get me to eat, tried to talk to me like she could reason me back into myself, but every attempt just made me more irritated. I didn't want comfort. I didn't want logic. I wanted what I'd already had, and the fact that I couldn't get it again made everything else feel pointless. She finally told me we weren't going back to the creek anymore. She said it wasn't a suggestion, and that she wasn't going to watch me waste away while pretending this was normal. I laughed at her, which I regret now, because I could see how scared she was. She told me she'd heard the voices every night since then, always when I couldn't, always calling her instead, and she was terrified that if she listened too closely, she'd end up where I was. She said she loved me too much to let that happen, even if it meant dragging me away from something I thought I needed. That's when I broke. I yelled at her. I told her she didn't understand what it was like to want something so badly it hurts, to feel like you were finally awake for the first time and then shoved back into sleep. I accused her of trying to control me, of being afraid of anything she couldn't explain, of ruining the only good thing that had happened to me in a long time.